I never saw Buddhist practice as being anything other than being with Maharaji. That the deeper I got in my practice, I always felt the closer I was. There's this model in Vajrayana Buddhism of Guru Yoga has 3 levels. The outer level where you worship the form, the inner level where you get blessings like wonderful dreams and things like that, or states, and then the innermost level where your mind is mingling so much with the Guru that it's basically the same. Like in that line, what is it? When I don't know.
Hanuman said to Ram, when I don't know who I am, I serve you. And when I know who I am, you and I are one.
Exactly. And the Buddhism in Tibet came from India in the 10th, 11th century.
Yeah.
When things weren't really branded Buddhism, Hindu, Jain. It was that there were teachers, realized teachers, and who passed on what they knew, and there were lineages. And the founding beings in the Tibetan lineages are Indian Mahasiddhas.
Yeah. But you have gone into, you and I are the 20-something century, and I want to know why you go to that stronghold.
Oh, to Tibet.
To Tibet.
Because I think it's the culture that has maintained a kind of time capsule from India, from the renaissance of spirituality in India of the 9th, 10th, 11th, before the Muslims came in, and have kept it in a very meticulous lineage from that time. And that the teachings and methods that are taught by the real Tibetan teachers are ones that came from India, and from that time of the Mahasiddhas. And of course Maharaji was a Mahasiddha, as Karmapa said. Well, that movie we saw about the Kumbh Mela made me realize that there are many different lineages in India.
Yeah.
I think the purest of which never advertise and pass on what they've gotten from their teachers to students, teacher to student, in the classical way. And some of those 84 Mahasiddhas that the Tibetans talk about are cited by Sadhu lineages as the key founders of their particular lineage in India. And I don't know if they think of themselves as Hindu or not. That's Hindu's kind of a colonial term.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean Buddhist and Hindu, those terms and those labelings, I think came from a colonial mentality that was trying to peg.
Oh, I'm caught.
The imperialist colonial
those
thinking.
English. Oh my God. Okay, well that's good to know.
I mean, it's okay to brand, but if you look at what Hinduism or Buddhism really is a vast collection of lineages which are replicating themselves through time.
Yeah.
Teacher to student. And of course, we have no idea who Maharaji's teachers were, if he had teachers, or what his practices actually were. And that's one of the marks of these pure lineages, is they don't talk about it. And I suspect many of them should.
When I was going to the Kumbh Mela, a guy in a bike stopped me, a motorbike And he said, are you going to Kumbh Mela? I was a Westerner, and who was your guru? And I told him, and I got back to the house, and Maharaj was livid.
You're not supposed to talk about you.
Talk about me.
Well, you've really blown up.
I know it.
Big time.
I know it.
But that's the ethic of those sadhu lineages. And it's also shared by the Vajrayana lineages, that you're not supposed to talk to just anybody about what your practice is or who your teachers are. I think it's loosened up a lot.
Yeah.
But that's the classic kind of, and that comes straight out of that Mahasiddha tradition.